There's a lot. There's a lot of standing and a lot of people.
Hold on, let's go ahead and start the episode 17. We're off air talking about Fantasmic, so let's just continue that conversation. So you just said you weren't going to stand around that long to watch Fantasmic, and I did.
Yeah.
Well, not 9-10 hours, but about an hour.
Props to you for doing it, because I'll tell you, we stood in line for an hour to take a picture with an Ewok, and I will never do that again. My feet were killing me. My back still hurts. You can tell I'm old. A week later, and my back is like, yeah, we're good, girl.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk. Well, we just saw the return of Fantasmic, and in amongst that stuff, you watched a live stream from somebody, right? And we won't mention names because I'm not going to give any props to anybody else. But
I watched several live streams, actually, because I went back and showed Aaron later with somebody else's live stream just to check it out. So, yeah, I've seen a couple of them.
Okay, so I got back from Star Wars Nite at Disneyland, which we'll talk about here in a couple minutes, as well as Celebration, because I did all 4 days of that. And we're in the hotel room. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, because I left about 12:30. By the time I got back to the room, I Ubered back to the room, so I'm in the room a little after 1. My brother had just happened to look at reservations and say, hey, they actually have openings for tomorrow, reservations. Now, they were for California Adventure, but we weren't going to get there anytime before 1, so it really didn't matter. So we took it and was surprised by that. I thought at first, we just caught somebody's cancellation. But on the bus over there actually was still reservations for California Adventure. You still could have got it.
Yeah, I think what Disney has been doing often is they are releasing throughout the day as people leave and don't come back, or as they're gauging the crowd and how many people are working. So I think Disney is tweaking their reservations same day, because I'll tell you, it's way easier to get a same day reservation than it is to try to book in advance sometimes.
So it was kind of weird. We got that, and then I went over. We had decided, because we were staying in a hotel there, and the eating options, because Celebration was going on, we have them, but right near the hotel and then around the convention center, it's a little pricey. It can be. Yeah. So we had decided, let's just go eat in the park, because we know we can mobile order, we know we can get something that we like. This is a bunch of different options. So we had opted for Flo's. So we went to Flo's, ate, and then kind of moseyed on over to Disneyland about 7, a little after 7, saying, let's go see what's going on, what it looks like, and then figure out kind of what our game plan was. Now, am I echoing?
Yeah. No, you're fine. You're good.
We had already thought 10:30 show. Let's do the 10:30 show, because traditionally, 10:30 show isn't quite as packed as the 9 o'clock show, whenever it was, 9:30, whatever it was. So we had headed over there anyway, met up with Diggs, actually, for a few, and then he was texting me, what's it like over there? It's packed over here, man. It was insanely packed. Like, yeah. Okay, what do you want to do?
It looked pretty packed.
Oh, yeah, it is. And then that whole area in front, like you were talking about, I don't know if you mentioned it here before we were actually recording or not, but the whole area right in front, that lower level on that brick path, was all that. Those are the dining reservations. Now, I already have a problem with paying for anything extra.
Mm-hmm.
I do it only when, this is the first After Dark that I attended. We'll get to that later, only because it was Star Wars.
Right.
But I really have a problem with paying for anything extra when I know I can get it at some point later without much of a hassle, and it doesn't cost me anything more than the price of my pass.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a problem with that. Plus, for the most part, I end up having to pay for anywhere from not one dining package. I'm usually with my brother, so he'll pay for his own, but 3 kids at $60 a piece, plus mine. So an extra $200 for that, it's not worth it to me.
I would rather spend that $200 on a new lightsaber that I thought was cool, or some other kind of cool merch, than something that like quite literally I could watch in my living room and get a pretty decent experience, or wait until a later show, or wait a few weeks, wait until, things die down a little bit. I'm right there with you. I mean, we're not on vacation. We have passes, so I'm not going to pay $200 extra for that.
Right. And the food was, I heard, it's all right. It wasn't anything,
When Hungry
special
Bear
for $60.
Hungry Bear Restaurant had better reviews for their takeaway dining stuff than the River Belle Terrace did. I heard the food for River Belle Terrace was mediocre at best.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And I like Hungry Bear. Like, actually, if we eat there kind of often. Like, I don't mind it. I'm not so picky when it comes to the food. Like, really, a hamburger to me is a hamburger. I know people will have something to say about that, but a hamburger to me is a hamburger. It's
But
not.
for River Belle
crazy.
Terrace, like if I'm paying $70, yes, I get it. It's also for the privilege to stand closer, but like the food should be a decent quality.
Yeah.
Get it. It's Disney, but they know how to do food. Like their sit down restaurants, they can do good food. So
Yeah, so I just wasn't into that. So we get over there, meet up with him. We kind of figuring out where standby area is and all that. And I know there's videos now of like, oh, this is where standby. I didn't watch that crap. I'm in Star Wars Celebration. I wasn't paying attention to what somebody posted on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. I was literally enjoying myself with all the Star Wars stuff that was going on. So we figured out, talking to some cast members and just kind of overhearing them talking to other people, that along the rails in front of like the Haunted Mansion and that area right there, the French Market, and on the bridge and just anywhere back, they took out that like useless set of steps that was a little platform.
that's what they did. All of that, like when the walls went up
Yeah.
and it was under construction for a while. That was the major thing they did, was get rid of useless steps. That honestly, the only thing that they were good for was the little pirate band would play there.
Right.
Literally.
Well, it was kind of if you could get up there, it was a nice little view above everybody else because it was a little bit higher. So that actually was kind of nice. But as far as a flow for a walkway, terrible. Absolutely terrible. Because there was no way out. Like you were literally stuck there. So that was that's gone. That area is viewing too. So the first show we were like, well, let's go sit down for a little bit and come closer to 9 o'clock and see what this looks like. Once they figure out, okay, everybody's got to stand up because everybody was sitting down, and then we know they're going to fill some of the viewing area with other people, which did happen. They did do that.
Quick question. Did you notice the people who are in the front, the reserved section, do they make them continue to sit? Because when I saw a video of it, they were sitting and it was like everybody was sitting.
Okay, so I didn't notice this time because I wasn't over there, but having watched from that area before, being let in on us on like a standby, because that area is reserved. Who I went with was Sarah. I ran into Sarah at the park one day before COVID, and we managed to watch Fantasmic from that area. And yeah, they made us sit in that area. They made us sit down, which is kind of nice, to do because you can see, because that's something that bugs everybody, is trying to see over anybody's head. And in fact, I did film the version that I watched just because that's kind of what I do sometimes. And the guy in front of me kept moving his head back and forth, and it was kind of annoying. He was nice because we were talking before, but like it was annoying that he kept moving his head back and forth and peeking up and looking. And I'm like, dudes, can you stop?
The worst is when you have those parents who like immediately put their kid on their shoulders and you're standing behind them like, dude, like you could have let me know ahead of time.
Yeah.
You were going to be 17 feet tall. So it is, it's nice that they make them sit down there. That's what I thought. So, but in the standby, it's standing only, right?
Yeah, so it's standing only. So that's fine. We had opted, to go sit down for a little bit and walk over there closer to 9, but then noticed Rise of the Resistance was only 45 minutes. So walked over there instead. And I think Diggs went to the first show. I asked him if he wanted to go with us. He's like, no, I'm going to walk over there and try to see what this is. Okay, that's fine. So left him, went over there. I think 45 minutes was from the time we got in line till getting off the ride was 45 minutes. Yeah, so I think we were in the pre-show room after about 20 minutes. It was only 20 minutes when we were in the pre-show room.
45 minutes for Rise of the Resistance is like a score.
Oh, yeah, we didn't stop. The first time we even stopped from walking was by the waterfall. That's where we actually stopped for the first time in the queue. Yeah, it goes really fast. You know what? The queue for it is actually not that bad. When you look at a time, it seems to be like that's about the time you're going to get off the ride, is what the time actually says on the wait time. So yeah, we were in the pre-show room 20 minutes. There wasn't much. It's
especially good if there's nobody who had fast passes. That's why, like during the day, the line seems a lot longer, and I think because that's when all the fast passes are going in.
Oh yeah, all the lightning lanes are quick.
It up, yeah, the lightning lanes, and then later in the day, those have all gone through. So now you're just, oh look, shocking! If there's no lightning lane, the line goes as it should. Anyway, back to Rise of the Resistance and Fantasmic.
Yeah, no, it was good. So we got off and then decided, okay, it's after 9:30, I think by this time, pretty close to 9:30. We're like, okay, so maybe we should kind of head over there and see what it looks like, to see kind of where we could figure out. We walked through Frontierland, which looking back now was a mistake. I should have went back around the other way in front of the Haunted Mansion. That was a mistake because it was still packed. And then we're actually wondering, like, why don't we hear fireworks? We should be hearing fireworks about now, and nothing. So, we walked in an area actually in front what was the reserve area, because I didn't know the whole thing was reserved. And they were telling people, you have to move. This whole area is going to be cleared out in a couple minutes. And I was like, oh, this is the reservation area. Let's go find a spot over here. We found a spot in front of Pirates, and we just kind of stayed there for about an hour. My feet hurt. My feet still hurt from that and all the walking I did this weekend. Yeah, I think they're a little swollen. I'm definitely feeling it. It's not bad, but it's a little less than it was. But, we stood there for an hour, watched it. They actually did, and this is weird. They came on the loudspeaker across the entire park and said that the nighttime spectacular was canceled. And everybody looked at each other like, what? And then, but they did say due to high winds in the altitude. Then we knew it was the fireworks, but they didn't say fireworks. They just said nighttime spectacular. All these people waiting for Fantasmic, and we're all, this? And then they're like, oh no, I said the winds. That's got to be the fireworks.
Everybody was like, all right, hold on there. And people immediately went on social media because I was kind of scrolling the next day, and there was a lot of talk about how that second show had been canceled. But they just heard the announcements, and like, I wonder if some people left because they thought Fantasmic was canceled or they misinterpreted it.
I didn't look like anybody left to me, but okay.
Yeah, well, but there were people who were on social media like, oh, they canceled the second show of Fantasmic, and then later it was like, oh no, it was back on. But what they canceled, because like I watched a vlogger the next night, I think they're doing the projections in the Fantasmic viewing area again for the fireworks.
I never saw those. I never saw those.
Sunday or Monday night.
Now that was a thing. That was a thing pre-COVID, but that didn't happen that night. There was no projections that night. Now, what's funny, interestingly enough, when I told you we were walking through Frontierland, I saw light coming from Main Street. So I think they had tried to start the fireworks, and it was sometimes when they aren't able. It's because it's Disneyland Forever fireworks right now. Sometimes when they don't do the fireworks, they do just the projections they do the digital mapping on the castle and on the buildings on Main Street. So I wondered if what I saw was the light from that. It's possible, but then they canceled the whole thing. It was really weird. I don't know if they showed that as this is like a consolation prize.
Like, hey, sorry you chose poorly, and now you can't get back over to Fantasmic. Sucks to be you. Go try a ride.
Well, what sucks is that the fireworks are at 9:30, right. Fantasmic's at 10:30. So all the people that had decided, oh, I'm going to watch the fireworks, can now make their way over to go see Fantasmic, unless they're going to wait around for the electrical parade. So even the timing, I don't know if you've even thought about this, but the timing is really weird. You have electrical parade at 8:30, Fantasmic at 9. Fireworks at 9:30, a second showing of Fantasmic at 10:30, and the electrical parade at 10:45.
I think what they're trying to do is split crowds between those two areas. And if you now, because it looks to me, and we'll see this weekend for Fantasmic, I guess, but it was either Sunday or Monday night. I was watching another live stream of Fantasmic because I like the show. It's a good
Yeah.
show. And the person who was streaming had like an excellent seat. So I was like, oh, this is great. And then they moved and they're like, oh, they're gonna do the projections tonight. And so the fireworks started and the projections started in the Fantasmic viewing area. And they were commenting about how much this used to be their favorite place to watch the fireworks and now that it's back and whatever. So I wonder if Disney is trying to like just break up that crowd a little bit because it's obvious there are more people there now than there were even several months ago. It's obvious
Oh yeah.
that Disney is increasing their capacity and they're probably, I'm guessing, doing this for crowd control. Because then you can decide, am I going to see the early or the late Fantasmic? Am I going to see the early, if I'm seeing the late Fantasmic, I could see the early electrical parade. So you can kind of split your time between
And you have to make choices because Fantasmic clocked in at 25 minutes.
Oh yeah, it is a
Like,
long show.
Yeah, it's long. It's long.
And even the Disneyland Forever fireworks, they're much longer than the Star Wars Night's fireworks were 7 minutes long.
Yeah, they were short. Yeah.
Super short. They were great, but they were super short. But the Disneyland Forever fireworks, they're pretty long.
10 to 12 usually?
Yeah.
Fall in that area?
That's a long time for some fireworks. But yeah, you're gonna have to make some decisions. So, but I think Disney is doing it for crowd control. That's just the only.
No, it makes sense because Fantasmic finished, and I needed to sit down. My feet were killing me, so I needed to sit down. So I found one of those planters back by that area I told you about where the steps used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I sat down there for a few minutes. Literally, my feet were kind of numb, so from standing there. So I sat down for a few minutes, and as I kind of came back around, was like, okay, we kind of wanted to ride Star Tours, but then thought like, I really don't want to cross Main Street because everybody's going to be like leaving right now too. So it's, plus it had been a long weekend already, and we had one more day, so we're like, let's go back to the hotel. That's fine. When we walked back up to Main Street, we actually caught the end of the parade because it was just going by, and that parade starts. The later one starts on Main Street and makes its way back over to Small World. So we caught the very end of it. So you have to make choices as to what you're going to do, which is fine. But I was like, oh man, we ran into all these crowds again. And then everybody's trying to leave, and they finally were like, oh, open that back gate. They opened the back gate behind the shops over there by where the Jungle Cruise stores the boats. So we walked down there, popped into the Emporium real quick, didn't see anything we were interested in, and then took off and got back to the hotel pretty easy. So that was our Fantasmic experience. Now the show itself, there's a few differences in it. One is, I don't know if you caught this or not watching it on the live stream, but you can actually hear Mickey. It seems like Mickey actually says more things or is just reacting to stuff.
He did seem more actively involved. Oh, and you asked me about the dragon.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't go back and watch the one from opening night, but I saw the next night or whatever it was, Sunday or Monday, I can't remember. Anyway, the dragon, no fire from the dragon's mouth, just fire in the lake.
Okay.
So I think the same issue with poor Maleficent and her fire breathing is the same. It is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I noticed Mickey talking more engaging, even if it was, huh? Oh boy. Oh, whatever it was. There was more, and I was like, I don't remember that from before. He's got lines, definitely, but like the reaction type stuff. So that was new. The sound seemed pretty crisp. There seems to be more mapping on the shacks that are up there. There seems to be more mapping there. The dragon, like I said, and then you just referenced it, but what I actually talked to you about was the fact that I didn't notice any fire coming out of the dragon's mouth. Now, I on the screens prior to the dragon coming up, you see, the old hag or the witch or whatever it is go up on the riser. You see that, and then it gets kind of dark as they bring her down and switch it out to the dragon. So the screens go, and the screen is a montage of villains, including Chernabog. There's a deep cut. Including Chernabog there, but this one also showed the dragon in it. Normally when they did that, when they showed the dragon on the screen, the dragon wasn't working. So you got the projection of it, and then that started the fire in the thing. But I had noticed, because I know what to look for, I noticed the dragon was there. It just wasn't lit up. So that was a little different to me. I didn't notice why they did that.
Yeah, I think that they're still working out the kinks because it was obvious the next night that I watched it, it was obvious the dragon was there. It was lit up, but there was no like fire or spark from the dragon's mouth. It was just the dragon was there. The eyes were lit up. But I remember the dragon, when it was working properly, did spit fire.
Oh, clearly spit fire out of its mouth, and then the fire in the water.
Did not, but it looks like they're trying. Maybe they can finally get that working. I always appreciated Fantasmic because it felt like a full Broadway like play at Disney on water, which was great. And I really like that. Interesting because there was talk that they were going to get rid of the whole Pirates of the Caribbean Jack Sparrow or whatever segment and bring back Peter Pan.
It was wildly popular. It was wildly popular. The screams for the pirate ship.
Oh my gosh, it was insane.
Wildly popular, and then Johnny Depp, because of what's going on right now, is insanely popular.
Well, and that's just it. When I heard people were like, "Oh, because of all the controversy," I was like, "What controversy? Homie's vindicating himself right now, and he's beloved."
No, he's even popular in World of Color.
Yeah, he's like super popular right now. Disney needed to wait a little bit on that. I know there's like a whole thing. So Disney, I think they acted way too quickly on like one of their top people ever because, you know, people like that character. Even if they don't like Johnny Depp, even if they're like, Johnny Depp is a horrible human and I hate him, the character he played is beloved. So Disney, when I heard people were like, they're going to bring back Peter Pan, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to bring back Peter Pan. I get you that there's a little resurgence of people liking Peter Pan, and, you know, if you have not seen Chip and Dale's, the new Rescue Rangers, it's Chef's Kiss with the Pan reference, but there wasn't any reason for them not to keep it as the pirate ship, and that was, again, one of the best segments I saw. It was great. The stunt performers were amazing. It was, you know, it was really good. You could tell that it was almost like they never had a hiatus from what I saw.
Yeah, it was done really well. It was really popular. So as I'm listening to you as you talk, but on my YouTube page, which is Dan's Disney Adventures, you can go and follow and watch some stuff. I'm watching the dragon sequence because I put up the dragon sequence from Fantasmic during COVID because I had it on my phone from before COVID. It clearly. So I guess it does show projections of the dragon on the water as it's getting set, and then when he's lit up fully, you see fire come out of his mouth and light the water on fire. And just above that, I have the alternate take, which actually did pretty well on TikTok. The alternate take of that, and it's projections. It does include Maleficent, and in this one you watch a projection of the dragon doing fire out of its mouth, and then the water catches on fire. So it's timed really well. The show was good. I think there's still a few little kinks that they have to work out. It was nothing major, but it's back. Everybody was super excited. Like you said, the freaking pirate ship. No one did understand why it was back because it doesn't fit. It's kind of a little bit different, but it's insanely popular. And like I said, even it is in World of Color because it doesn't fit in World of Color either. But there it is. As soon as they show the skull and crossbones, you know, the logo from Pirates of the Caribbean, people get crazy.
Yeah.
It is a beloved ride. I mean, I love it too.
It's such a good ride. I mean, I can't wait to ride it again. I have reservations on July 3rd. And they are supposed to open Pirates back on the 1st. Yeah. So I'm probably going to make my way over there and try to rope drop that because we rope drop. I'm not really a night. I learned from Star Wars Nite that we are not night people.
So let's go into Star Wars Nite before I talk Celebration because I can talk for days about Celebration.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about your Celebration.
But but I want to hear your Star Wars Nite stuff because you were there and I was there, but we didn't actually get a chance to meet up. We were texting each other back and forth, but we didn't actually get a chance to meet up.
But so we got there early because it worked out that we made reservations ahead of time just so we can get in there early if we wanted to. Worked out that we were able to get into Disney at I think we rolled in around 2:30, 3 o'clock, and kind of walked around, checked out some merch. It was really busy, seemed really busy that day. And we went in to we were able to go in and get our wristbands and stuff at 3:30. And there was a small queue of 20 people, and I walked over and I was like, "Are you queuing for Star Wars Nite's wristband?" And they were like, "Yes." So we just got in line.
Why already?
Because they were allowing us in at 3:30.
Okay.
To get the wristbands, and it was 3:20. So we figured, we may as well get our wristbands.
Okay. Well, that's fair. It's not like you need to be in line at noon to get your
No. We just figured we happened to stumble upon it at the right time. There was 20 people in line ahead of us, so we figured, you know what, we'll just stand in line and get this out of the way. That way we don't have to do it later. And the cosplay on some of the people who were there was next level. I think they came from the Star Wars celebration thing you were at and just rolled up in these amazing cosplay.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
So how was that allowed? Because you were allowed to cosplay during the actual event.
Yes.
But during the event, not hours before.
You know what? I'm going to be just speculation on my part. I just think that Disney knew what was happening and that people were coming in early and that they just didn't want to fight that fight. And maybe they just reminded people, don't pretend to be a character, because that's their number one complaint, is that people try to take pictures with them. So maybe that's what Disney did. I have no idea. It's just speculation.
And I only say this because I wasn't there that early. I was there after the time you could actually get into the park. But I noticed on Saturday when I was in Galaxy's Edge, I stopped over in the marketplace to go use the restroom, and we came out and we walked through the marketplace real quick on the way over back to Frontierland in the Fantasmic area, and I noticed a guy in an X-Wing outfit. He didn't have the helmet on. He just had the orange jumpsuit and that flight vest. And I was like, wait a minute, what the heck is going on here? Last night I would have understood that. Today it's kind of obvious you just came from Celebration at the convention center and came to the park.
And I wonder if that's why they relaxed the rules, because Disney's, they're pretty strict about a lot of the rules. So I'm wondering if they just relaxed them for the weekend because it wasn't a fight they wanted to fight. I mean, as a teacher, I get that. Sometimes you don't want to fight that fight, but
not a hill to die on.
That's a guy who legitimately was Porkins. I'm all, that's Porkins, and my husband's like, that is he was perfect. He was Porkins. So. Yeah, the cosplay was on point. I've never seen cosplay that good, but we rolled in and they walked us through the line, pretty quick. We got our wristbands and everything, got our little press credentials, and then right when
which was useless, but okay.
You know what? It made for a cute picture, and we put it on our bulletin board.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm probably gonna take it to work and pin it behind my desk or something. I'll replace my Marilyn Manson one with Star Wars. Probably more school appropriate. Anyway, so right when you dumped out, they dumped you out into the Boba Fett photo op, and we figured, we've got Photo Pass with these wildly expensive Star Wars nights, because I'm like you. I don't pay extra for stuff. The only reason we went to this After Dark event is because it was Star Wars, and my husband, I like Star Wars, but he takes it to a whole new level. So this was something that was the only thing he was interested in. I've never been to Oogie Boogie Bash, none of it. So I'm like you, I don't pay extra. So we were like, well, we're paying for this, let's take all the pictures. So we got some really, fun photo op there, and then per the usual, my husband needs to go to Oga's every time we go to Disneyland. And I'm like, we're never going to get reservations. So we go over, I managed to find a seat. We're sharing a Ronto wrap. I pop up my phone, and I got reservations within 30 minutes.
Reservations or the walk-in?
Walk-in reservations, but the standby line.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, I wish I could have found sit down, but I prefer, if you're going to stand, They have the tables or the bar.
Yeah.
The bar is the way to go.
Oh yeah, I
The
love the bar. The bar's
I
better than the
the
table.
bar, yeah, 100 times. So we went in. That was fun because it was Star Wars night, and then it was. I love the way people in Ogas try to stay in character. Like I do love that about them.
Oh, the
And there
the staff.
were, yeah, the
Yeah.
staff, like the bartenders
Hmm.
and stuff were there and trying to like stay in their little character. There's a guy who works there. I want to say his name's Timothy. He's literally the best character bartender that I have ever encountered, and I've been to Oga's a lot. He's amazing. Like I wrote to Disney about him and said how wonderful he was. He has a whole backstory for his life. Like he will come up and talk to you, and if you like interact with him, he will spend so much time with you. He was amazing.
I think
So
they're encouraged to do that, aren't they?
yeah,
To
no, it's
develop
encouraged,
backstories to their
but
characters.
I'll tell you, no one's ever taken it to the level this guy did. Like
Yeah.
he's into his job. I love that. When somebody likes what they do, I
So
dig
the
that.
next Maynard.
Yeah. So anyway, they were asking like, "What's the Star Wars night?" And the guy who worked there was like trying to play it off in a way to answer the question and like also not break character at the same time. So that
Mhm.
was interesting. But anyway, we walked around, and then we uh, we rested a, a little more than we were resting before the night really started.
Needed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Aaron worked at 5:30 in the morning on Friday. So we had been up since like 3:34 in the morning. And he didn't get a chance to stop. I was like, maybe you should take a nap. He's like, who can sleep? And so off we went. So I was trying to get him to like, let's chill in the shade for a little bit. But we did go on a few rides before it happened. And then once the event started, um, it was good. Like I will say the photo ops were great. There were different places for the photo ops. Those were really good. Some had longer lines than others. Like we did not wait for Jawas or Sand People because the line was super long. But the only ones I wanted to wait for were the Ewoks because I love the Ewoks. It's actually my favorite movie because I remember watching it not in the theater but quickly thereafter because
Yeah.
I was born in '78. So by the time Ewoks are on the scene, I'm a little girl. They're cute and cuddly. I mean, it's a match made in heaven.
Hmm.
And so I said, that's all I care about. I want to see these damn Ewoks. So after we saw John Favreau, the guy
Favreau.
who
Yeah.
created, yeah, Mandalorian walk by, who he did not have enough security. Just on a side note,
Really?
he walked past us and it was obviously okay, I don't know the guy. It was obvious to Aaron who that was. So Aaron's like, that's John whatever. And I go, I don't know who is this? Who is this guy? But as he's walking by, I'm watching the interaction. So like I worked at Knott's. We had to deal with famous people. We were taught how to deal with famous people because that's just part of the training. So when I see somebody famous, I kind of just go back to how we acted with them. Now we were allowed to say, "Hey, I love your work," or we were allowed to like comment on that, but you don't get in somebody's face. There was one Disney plaid, and that's it. And the Disney plaid had gotten, I'm going to go at least 6 or 7 paces ahead of that guy, John, whatever. And there was a crowd forming around him, almost like encasing him. And this guy had his phone with the light on, trying to get next to him like a selfie, trying to take a picture as they were walking. And it was obvious he didn't ask. Obvious no, John didn't want to stop. And it was like, I was like, where the hell is this guy's security? Aaron's like, that's uncomfortable. Like watching it happen, I'm like, I don't ever want to be that level of famous. I don't know why. And then later he kept popping up in the middle of crowds. So I think he genuinely liked to be out there, but the interaction we saw was uncomfortable.
He was there for a length of time because I've seen numerous photos
Mm-hmm.
of him from them watching Fantasmic. And
Yes.
to be honest, a lot of people that were at Celebration. So you mentioned Jon Favreau,
Yes.
but also Pedro Pascal, who is the Mandalorian, was seen there. Ewan McGregor was seen there. Hayden Christensen was seen there. Tamora Morrison, who's Boba Fett. was seen there. So many of them were actually seen there.
And, that's great. I mean, first off, they work for the company. I hope they get those perks. I guess where I was like amazed is that he just didn't seem to have enough security with him.
Yeah.
Because some of these fans, there's a reason why the term fan is from fanatic. They were uncomfortably in this guy's space. Now, if it was Ewan McGregor, maybe I would have gotten that uncomfortably close because I love that guy. But I'm kidding. But it was just real. It was a weird interaction. So anyway, after we saw that little thing, which was cool, I mean, my husband was texting all of his friends, guess who just walked by me? Because he has friends in other states. So, he was like, look where I'm at. This guy just walked past me. I was like, I'm glad you got your fun for the night. We went over to stand in line for the Ewoks. Bruh. Oh my gosh. So we got there way early. The Ewoks didn't show up till 9. We got there before 8, like right at 8 o'clock-ish, right? The line was already long-ish. So the Ewoks are by Splash Mountain, and the line...
Yeah, I saw. That line was still long when I was there about...
Okay, it was essentially
11 o'clock.
line to Splash Mountain.
Yeah.
Okay, like it was the line to Splash Mountain, if anyone's familiar with it, about 10 feet before the entrance to go into the line inside Splash Mountain.
And can I say the Splash Mountain wait was only 10 minutes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the line for the Ewok, we are right about parallel with like the churro cart right there. And then we look and the line, we're like, oh, it can't be that long, right? Once, like where we were. Mm-hmm. Then everyone who came after us, by the time we left, the line to meet Ewoks got to be an hour wait. Had to have been an hour wait.
It went out. It was definitely in front of Splash Mountain.
Yes.
And I think there was a couple of, I think they used part of the queue for Splash Mountain. Right there next to whatever the shop is. I can't remember the name of that shop right there. The little, used to be the hat store.
Yeah.
They wrapped a couple of queues right there, and then it went out in front of Splash Mountain. That's what I thought it was, too. I was like, wow, land for Splash Mountain. And I was like, oh, no. Oh, no, I know what it was. Because I was looking for that speeder bike photo op.
Oh, and that speeder bike photo, it was like a 2-second wait.
Yeah, I think I waited
by the way.
I think I waited 5 minutes, and I actually only waited 5 minutes because my brother had gone to the bathroom, and I was waiting for him. I let people pass me so I could wait for him.
And the speeder bike was a great photo op, but the Ewoks, okay, they now that they're shifting the Batu storyline, can we have Ewoks in Batu? Please let that happen. Anyway, first off, the people, the friends of the Ewoks, as they say, the people who played the Ewoks were awesome. Awesome. It was an awesome character interaction. You could not touch the Ewok. I'm laughing because there were instructions. So once we waited in line, I'm dying. My husband's like, we saw the fireworks from the line because I was like, I'm not leaving. So that's how long the line was. It took through the fireworks. We were there for a long time. I think all in all, we probably waited like an hour and 20 minutes to see some Ewoks.
Yeah. So I had messaged you before because we were both in the park before. I ate dinner about 7:30, just before 7:30. And by the time I had texted you, you were like, oh, we're going to go get in line for the Ewoks thing. Okay. And I was like, I thought they had started early because I saw the Boba Fett op. Those were open early.
So too, but
those were open early, but no.
No.
9 o'clock. Because I'd asked you, oh, are you going to go see the fireworks? And you had said, well, if we're done with the Ewok thing. And I was like, oh, you're still there? I'm like, okay.
So as you walk up, there were these Ewoks who a little bit shorter than me, so bigger, they're
tall. They're tall for Ewoks.
They were good size Ewoks.
Yeah.
But as you walk up, they have a Disney employee who openly admitted he had never worked in this section, does not understand Star Wars. This was not where he needed to be. He was kind of funny about it, but he would give you instructions. And it was like, don't touch the Ewoks because their hoods are magical and we don't want to break the magic, or I don't know, whatever story they gave. And we were like, okay, so you can't touch the Ewok, you can't hug the Ewok, you can't touch the Ewok. You could high five the Ewok or fist bump the Ewok, and that was what you could do. And I was like, damn, I really wanted to hug one of these little little dudes on it, but okay, fine. Then you walk up again, and there's another attendant who reminds you yet again, do not touch the Ewok.
You think safety, COVID protocol, or you
No,
just
I think it's just
costume?
because they knew that first off, the costumes were
A little fragile.
really good, but I think fragile because we've never seen them before. But I also think look, I love these little Ewoks, they're adorable, but again, there were rabid fans there. I think they were afraid people would like manhandle the Ewoks, to be honest. Then there was another character attendant. I called her Nurse Ratchet. She was wearing a lab coat. She was like, had a flashlight in your face if you even looked at the Ewok the wrong way. And she was like handling the Ewoks. And then there was the photographer. So we put our stuff down. We walked over. The Ewoks were amazing. They danced with you. They like mirrored your images. They were like great. I have like multiple pictures. I think they took like 6 pictures. If you had 2 people, they took more pictures. They're doing different poses in the pictures. Like, it was a great character interaction. Would I have waited an hour and 20 minutes again? No, I don't think I would have. But I'm glad I did it once because I really like those characters. But we did not wait for other characters. The lines for like an actual human character meet and greet, those lines were much longer than just the photo ops. So we made the executive decision to try to do more of the photo op stuff and less standing because by about my husband's like, I want to see the March of the Order in Tomorrowland. So I drag him all the way across there. This poor man was asleep standing up. He was literally like his eyes were closed and he was heavy snoring almost, standing against a wall next to the Star Trader. And so I was like, hey, here comes the First Order march. And he kind of opened his eyes. I took some video of it. He kind of opened his eyes and took a drink of water, but he was asleep standing up. So I was like, you know what? We're calling it. I'm tapping out. We're going home. And he's like, but I'm having so much fun. And I'm like, I'm glad. And then
11-ish? Was it about 11?
11:30.
Okay.
Yeah. Like 11:30. And so then as we're walking, he's like, no, you're right. He's like, I can't. He's like, we did the photo ops he really cared about. He's not really big on rides because, as he put it, we can ride rides whenever we want. And so the ride thing wasn't as big of a deal to him. So I saw my Ewoks. He got a lot of the photo ops he was interested in. I think he saw the March of the First Order. And so we called it, we got on the tram. And he slept on the tram, and then I woke him up to get him to the car, and then the minute he sat in the passenger seat, he was out again. So I'm glad I called it when I did, but I think all in all, it was great. The one other thing we did before I hand it over to you, he wanted the tip yip chicken legs that were a Star Wars Nite exclusive at the Ronto Wrap.
Mm-hmm.
So they were good. It was a delicious sauce, whatever they were in. They were really good. They were drumstick size, so you got 2 drumsticks for $13.99. We ate $13.99 chicken legs. And I said, are you kidding me right now? And he's like, well, I really wanted to try them because I heard they were good. Good, yes. $13.99 good? No, absolutely not. That was, holy cow. I rarely feel super ripped off by Disney. I felt super ripped off on those. It was insane. And we didn't eat a lot of the food there because a lot of it was just.
It's nothing. It didn't appeal to me. Yeah.
And we can't really eat a lot of sugar. And I don't know why, but Disney, their special event nights seem to be super sugar.
They're dessert based.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, to the point where I'm like, I can't do that. So we didn't really eat any of like the specialty stuff except those damn tip-yip legs, which were good, but not $14 good. So that was it. It was all in all, it was a great night. From what I've heard, it was infinitely better than Villains Night and even better than Sweethearts, which was supposed to be the better of, those other two. But if they did a Star Wars night again, would I go? Yes.
Yeah.
Would do things differently. But it was great, and I would do another Star Wars night because we did different interactions. So I want to hear about how your night went.
Yeah, mine was different. I didn't get into park until a little after 6:30. By the time I got there, and then the first thing I did was ate because we were starving. We were starving from having been at the convention all day.
Yeah.
So I didn't get anything special. It really was like, what's the closest thing that we can eat that is time-wise works well. So it happened to be Galactic Grill. Yeah. And I had that whatever Hawaiian kind of burger they had.
Yeah.
Which was pretty good. Again, I'm not crazy, but it's a hamburger.
Yeah.
It's a hamburger. It had pineapple and teriyaki sauce. I like both. Red onions. Let's go. It was good. I didn't have a problem with it. Got that. Calmed down, a little hangry at the time. They were doing the Boba Fett photo op over by the launch bay, which is where you checked in. And the line, I'd gone to the restroom, and I noticed the line wasn't really all that long. And I didn't know that it was actually 2 photo ops. So they took one in front of the building, which is black, and they superimposed some characters in there in your picture, and then they took the photo on the Boba Fett throne. So we did that. I think I was already texting you by that point. We had met up with Diggs again, and Jose, another guy that we know who had gone with him, hung over there for a little bit while we figured out what was going on. There was already a line for Darth Maul and Darth Vader at the terrace.
Yeah.
So I didn't even bother. I never did see them because I figured out talking to you that it didn't even start until 9. But then I had asked you where the photo was for Jabba, and it turned out it was in the Starcade behind Star Trader. Yeah.
And that actually, there were 3 photo ops in one in there, and all 3 of them.
So no, I was going to ask you about that.
Oh.
There was not. So I went over to the Mandalorian one, which is outside of the theater, and had that, and it was just a photo op with the stuff in the background. Then I went into Starcade. You had sent me a picture with a Gamorrean guard.
Yes.
That was not taken. That wasn't taken.
Well, it wasn't the Gamorrean guard we took on our own phone. It wasn't like a photo pass photo.
So was the Gamorrean guard just somebody there?
No, there were Disney people who were taking our pictures for us.
But was there a character there?
Yeah, there was a Gamorrean guard there.
Because that was not there when we were there.
Weird. I wonder and that Gamorrean guard, he looked like the same Gamorrean guard that we saw over at the convention center in somebody's vlog. So I don't know, but it wasn't like a dude who just like started taking pictures, because all of Disney's people were there. So it had to have been Disney sanctioned. But that's really weird. Yeah, that Gamorrean guard was there. He was interacting with people.
Nope.
It wasn't like a photo pass photo. We just gave like the worker our phone.
Right.
The
Yeah.
worker took our picture.
That's when I had been meaning to ask you too, because you sent me that photo and I thought it was cool. So I went over there and realized that's the backdrop that Gina sent me that picture with the Gamorrean guard, but there's no one here.
Weird.
So they took actually, I think you got to send it to me now I think about it. My brother took the pictures. Wouldn't even let the CM do it. He took them real quick. And then we got back in line, and it was the photo with Jabba, and then the Sarlacc pit, which was cool. So we did that, and then by about that time, it was really close to fireworks time.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time we were done with that, so I went on Main Street, and we tried to find a spot. Of course, everything's kind of packed. I ended up over near that popcorn cart, which wasn't the best viewing for the actual castle itself, but we could see the fireworks and the whole ambiance of it all. So the music played, we saw the fireworks. They were different sets of fireworks. There were a lot of planets and stuff like that where it had the ring and stuff like that. So it went with it. It was kind of cool. It was short, like you were saying. After that, we went to go get our pass holder, or magic key holder.
And I'm
button.
bummed that I never made it back over there, because I really wanted that. It just didn't work out for us, but I'm glad that you were able to get it.
Yeah, so we did that, and then noticed that they were doing like the light speed thing on the Matterhorn. They had projected light speed stuff on them. So the whole time it looked like there was just like an asteroid field. And then at certain intervals it would speed up and you'd see the light speed thing, and then it would stop and go back to just the stars kind of thing. So that was pretty cool.
They did that over on Small World too.
Yeah, I caught that. I caught actually a fantastic picture which I'd put on my IG, Dan's Disney Adventures, of the light speed going on the castle. I just happened to catch it. Just happened to catch it. It's a beautiful looking photo. I thought it was so freaking cool. So we did that, and then we ended up going to, my brother wanted to try the dark stuff from Red Rose Tavern, so we did. It was pretty good. And then we knew we were going to try to go do the lightsaber meetup because we had both taken our lightsabers. Now, the entire time we were at the convention center, I didn't take my lightsaber to the convention center at all because I knew there was going to be a meetup at Star Wars Nite, and I wanted to do that, which turned out to be actually super cool.
I saw a lot of the pictures. Had we brought our lightsaber, we would have prioritized that, but we didn't bring it. Mm-hmm. And so we didn't prioritize it. But every single video, picture, everything I've seen of it is just, it was amazing.
No, I got a cool video of it being in it. That was actually pretty cool. There were so many people.
Oh,
what they did was, as soon as it was over, a lot of people start leaving, and I'm like, I don't really want to walk back to this crowd of people because I just don't, you're bumping your way. I'm like, let's just wait a minute, let everybody kind of go by. I just started making my way closer to the Falcon because everybody's going this one way. I'm going the other way. It just made it easier for me to get that way. So then we ran into some cast members who said, here's the code for the pictures that we're just taking. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh yeah, we're here for the Saber meetup. Yeah. Then here's the code. You can scan this. We'll give you the pictures we just took. Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. So there's like 20 pictures they sent us, including, because what happened, they had Chewie and Rey were on top over there by Docking Bay 7. And it was Rey that actually said something like, "Are you with us with the Resistance?" Then everybody had turned off their lightsabers and they were supposed to be activated all at once, which people kind of blew because they turned it off. They turned it on as soon as she said raise it instead of wait for her to activate it. But it still looks cool. It's a cool looking video. To see everybody light up at once. Yeah, they just weren't listening.
And there's always a small segment.
Yeah. It's fine. It looked cool. They sent a bunch of pictures.
I think most people followed directions because everything I saw, it looked way cooler. It looked really good.
It looked cool. No, it was definitely a fun experience and something to do. I did things a little bit differently. I opted not to get any character photos, but I opted to do all but one of the step-in photo ops. And the one I didn't do was because it was only like the side of an X-Wing.
Yeah, we didn't do that one either.
That's the only one I didn't do.
It looks super lame.
Yeah.
The one that was the really cool one, the garbage compactor one.
Yeah.
That one was super cool, and the one that was the
Wampa.
You're trying to reach, yes, the Wampa, where you're trying to reach the lightsaber. I let my husband do that. We took photos together, but for that one, I was like, "You got this." And so I thought it would look really stupid to have two people in that picture, and I didn't really care about it nearly as much, and so the photo we got of him was really good. They did a great job on those.
Yeah. So I managed to do all of those just because I didn't do the character ones because I've heard the character ones, like you said, were really long. And to be honest with you, I walked by places and saw the characters. To be 100% honest, they look good. I would never deny they didn't look good. You could catch just as good at the convention center.
Oh,
of somebody just walking by, and if you really wanted it, could say, "Can I take a picture with you?" And they were totally accommodating, like completely. That's why I didn't do it, because I was like, if I really wanted any of these photos, I totally could get it at the convention center. It's just somebody walking by.
Well, and the ones with the people, like the ones on Main Street, they were characters of a series that I've never seen before, clone or something. I don't know. But there were two people there. I was like, who are these people? I don't know who these people are. The Jawas were cute. Sand people were good, but I was like, I don't really.
I saw Ahsoka Tano, and she looked good, but I had seen a bunch of Ahsoka Tanos at the convention center who looked just as good.
Yes, and we walked past her, and my husband was like, "Oh, she wasn't out for the third and the fourth. Third, she just waved from a balcony, and the fourth, she didn't even go." He's like, "It's cool that she's an actual meet and greet character." And I said, "Well, do you want to wait for her?" And he took one look at the line. He's like, "Nah." He's like, "I'm good." So, and we had seen not necessarily her, but her race, I guess. Not even her race. The characters with the things on their head, like from Jabba's palace.
Togrutas? I think they call it Togrutas, I think.
we saw people cosplaying them at Star Wars Night, and I was like, dang, I'd like to take a picture with them.
Yeah.
Like they were doing, I mean, stage quality work. So you're absolutely right. Just even the few cosplayers that I saw, some of them go all out to the point where their costumes were as good, if not better, in some situations. So you didn't miss anything by missing the characters.
So we went around and caught all the photo ops, and then we got to catch a couple more that we missed on the other side of the park. So headed over there, and then we ended up actually we were heading back towards the trash compactor one and the Wampa one, which I didn't know were right next to each other because one was tucked back kind of far. But we had passed the castle, and I noticed the castle had the stars on it and was doing the light speed thing. So I told my brother, hey, you know what? I want to get a picture of that and possibly a video if I can catch it changing. And he said, okay. So we walked over there, and there was not many people in front of the castle at all. So I'm taking a couple pictures, a little bit of video, and then some cast member walks up to us and says, are you guys... Oh, because we had known at some point they were doing a parade of costumes or something.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we're taking pictures in front of the castle, and a cast member walks up to us and said, oh, do you guys want to be in the picture? And we were just like, sure. Yeah. So she said, okay, I'm going to have you move off to the side here, and we'll put you in when everybody parades in. And we're like, oh, well, this is what we were looking at. This is the parade that we were looking at. So sure enough, here come Mickey and Minnie on the fire truck, being, leading the procession of just a bunch of people dressed up and just plenty with just lightsabers and stuff. And we have our lightsabers, obviously. So we got them out and ended up in the back of the photo. And then cast members did the same thing. If you want, because we had noticed a big ladder,
right?
Like, and a photographer standing on a ladder. I'm like, well, they're gonna take a photo of something. And I was like, okay. I'm like, oh, we're gonna be in the photo. So sure enough, they had the little code again, gave us all those pictures, and you can actually see the top of my face and my brother because I did it on purpose. Like I knew okay, this guy is holding this lightsaber this way. Everybody's holding them straight up. This guy has it at an angle. I'm like, if I can find this dude in the photo, I can actually zoom in and see do I see myself? And sure enough, you can see my nose up to my top of my forehead. But it's cool knowing I was in that picture and Mickey and Minnie are in it. So yeah, we ended up in the photo accidentally. So then we just finished the rest of the photo ops in about 12:30. Decided, dude, it's probably time to go. We've been up all day too, walked around all day, have to get up tomorrow. Tomorrow we actually have the Mando Plus panel. So we've got that, and then we have a busy day. We have a very busy day on Friday. We have a very busy day on Saturday. So we decided to leave. All of Main Street by then had the stars on it too, and the DJ Wendy. If you listen and you know who DJ Wendy is, she's a throwback from the days at Tomorrowland Terrace and for the Mad Tea Party, DJ Wendy. So they had her playing stuff, and everybody was in a good mood. Everybody was tired. Tons of people picking up an Uber. I just grabbed an Uber home. Looking back now, I don't know why I just didn't drive across the street. Leave my hotel, drive across the street, and just get on the bus. No, we walked over from our hotel across the street and across the parking lot, and then we're like, I don't want to do that. Let's grab an Uber back. The next day we went for Fantasmic. I was like, why did we not just drive the car over there? And my brother was like, I just didn't even give it a thought and somehow thought that it would just be really busy trying to cross the street and there would be a ton of traffic. And there wasn't. There was people walking, but it was they did a very good job of directing traffic.
Yeah.
So I was like, we're stupid. Let's just do that. So we did that on Saturday night. I was like, that was much better because we got parking actually pretty close to where the buses pick up. So yeah, but no, we was like, I don't even want to. Let's just grab an Uber. $7 Uber ride from freaking Disneyland back to the front of the Hilton Hotel where I stayed.
$7 to save you some shoe leather and some back pain. I say.
You know what? Yeah, I didn't even blink. I was like, it's $7, dude. Oh, let's do it. Okay, that's fine. I had a great night. I would do it again. I would do that one in a heartbeat. It was a lot of fun. I would definitely do it again. Got a lot of great pictures, so I thought it was pretty cool.
I really liked the fact that it was on a Friday also because I didn't work on Saturday, so that was awesome. Part of my biggest issue with a lot of the After Darks is that they do them on Tuesdays and Thursdays or Sundays. Yeah. And I think, I have to work to pay for this night, and I work a normal, Monday through Friday kind of gig. So, and I mean, I guess I could go to an after hours and then schlep into work the next day, but who wants to really do
I mean,
that?
that's late. I mean, I stayed at a hotel by the convention center. I'm literally minutes away, and I got back into the room a little bit after 1. Imagine having to drive home
Yeah.
after that. We only live about you live closer. I only live about a half an hour away. But, I
Yeah.
mean, I left Disney when I went with some of the kids that work for me. I got back at 12:30 and had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was dying. That would
Yeah.
have been really late. That was definitely a call-in day
If
the next day. I
I
wouldn't have done
want to
that.
do, because I've been looking at Oogie Boogie Bash, which seems like the only other one that I would maybe want to do, but I don't know. I would schedule it to take the day off the next
Oh
day.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I'm not doing that. But yeah, I wish Disney would do, if they were going to do After Darks, more. I wish they would look at holding one or two nights on a Friday or a Saturday. Like I paid the extra money for it. I was fine with that.
Yeah.
I could afford it, so there I
Oh,
was. Yeah.
I forgot one thing I did do. I
What?
stopped and watched the Cantina band.
Yes, and we were sitting there for like a minute because I was like, hey, let's just sit here for a second and see if they come by. Because we had seen them when we were over in the Ewok line. We saw them like loading up. So we
Yeah.
knew where they were, but we stayed there for a little bit. We just didn't catch them. And then
They
they didn't really have a time, did they?
No, they didn't. They didn't
They
really have a time. It
did.
just said Cantina band, and then I walked by that area trying to find the speeder photo op, and I managed to see a tech guy, who was obviously he's an audio guy, and I was like, "Hey, man, is the band coming by?" He told me, "Yeah, about 5-10 minutes." Okay, let's go see. Do you want to hang around? Do you want to go look at the speeder op? Let's go see what the speeder op is because they haven't been long.
Yeah.
So again, it didn't take that long. We walked back and actually thought we missed it. We thought we missed it. So we were tired anyway. So let's sit down for a minute here anyway. We've been standing all day. So we sat down, and then we noticed a couple of tech guys. They left the booth. Like, oh man, we must have missed the band. Oh well, like let me take this chance. Let me organize my backpack because I had shoved some stuff in there. So, okay. Oh, I know what it was. My spirit jersey. I got a Celebration spirit jersey. That's a different story. I'm organizing stuff in there, and then I see the tech guys again, and we see the band coming down from the river from the other side. Oh, we didn't miss the band. There's no one standing there, like no
Yeah.
one. So
Yeah,
I asked
because
my brother, "Hey,
they didn't like advertise when it was gonna
half
be.
the crap's out of my backpack. I got my lightsaber. I'm like, what do you want to do? Are you gonna sit right here? Yeah, I want to sit right here. Like I need to sit down for a few minutes. Okay, I'm gonna go stand over by the water then and take some pictures and get a video. He said, okay. So I walked over there and got that video that I sent you.
Yeah, it was great.
It was cool. I mean, it was like they weren't playing. That was really obvious. But the whole vibe of it, and people were into it, man.
Yeah.
They were getting into it. I'm like, as soon as you hear drums, like these guys aren't really playing, but whatever. It looked
Well,
cool. Yeah,
yeah,
it
and it
looked
was
cool, and
cool.
it was just like this cool experience to see something and they're just floating down the river, doing this thing just like the Dixie Band does. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, like you're saying, I would definitely pay for that again.
Yeah, that was just it was a lot of fun. Because I have we know somebody who went to Villains Night, and they said they'll probably never go back to that. They said it was a hot mess. It wasn't fun. The lines were incredibly long. It was boring for the most part, and they wouldn't go back. So, and this is somebody who likes Disney, so I was like, man, I hope Star Wars Night is better than that, and it was. It was great. It was a lot of fun. The lines for the rides, if you wanted to do rides, the lines for the rides were really
They're
reasonable.
non-existent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think Hyperspace Mountain probably had the longest line because it was the special Hyperspace Mountain. But I was asking Aaron, I was like, hey, you want to pop on a ride or something? And he's like, no, I really would rather run around and get these photo ops that I want and just have an experience and the whole vibe of the night, like you said, because it's all Star Wars nerds.
hmm
It's just a bunch of people who have, who have this, who share this, in some cases, passion for this movie and this universe, and it was just really cool. Some people brought their kids and dressed their kids up, so there were little kids running around, also enjoying the night for the earlier part of the evening. I think some parents ended up bailing probably when we did. I noticed a lot of kids in that tram. But it was a great experience and I feel worth the money, which for Disney sometimes is not always the case.
Celebration. Okay.
Yes. How was it? Because next year it's in London. So
Good, bad, or ugly. Like, it depends. You know what? I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I think how you look at it depends on who you talk to and what they wanted to do. So I had very little expectations because I knew how big this thing is going to be, and you just have to like kind of play it by ear and figure out what it is that you want to do, because there was no way with the amount of things to do and how many people were there that you were going to do everything, and that genuinely upset people.
I saw a vlog where there was a room full of people who they said some of the people in that room had been standing in line for like 4 hours.
Okay, so let's go over how that actually works. So I guess we'll go over some of the process type stuff.
Holy cow.
So it's a convention, so there are panels and discussions about a bunch of different stuff. So the way that it worked was the first one of the day at 11 a.m. was always, because it opened at 10. Mm-hmm. The first one of the day at 11 was always the biggest one. That was the biggest one. So to control crowds and to get rid of that overnight camping type thing, because it used to be you could stay overnight in the bowels of the convention center so you could see what you wanted to. That shit's gone. Like, they didn't want that. People still got there early. Like, they got to the convention center like at 5 o'clock in the morning, which is, I guess up to them, but you couldn't do an overnight thing like you did before. Right. They instituted a lottery system. So a couple of weeks ago was the deadline, and it didn't matter when you signed up, but you signed up for the 4 different panels. There was the Lucasfilm one, the Lucasfilm one, there was something to do with light and magic that had to do with special effects. There was a Mandalorian one, and there was one, the Bad Batch, the animated series. Those were the 4 big ones. You got to put in a lottery for it to say, okay, I want to attend this one. And if you got picked for it, and you also got a group code. So if you went, you could use my group code and we could enter together. So if I won, you got it too. That's how it actually worked. So we entered those, and there was also a lottery for Funko, and there was a lottery for Loungefly. Those are what they were for, like, shopping times. So they drew the panel one, and I won the Mandalorian one. So that means myself and my brother, who were the only 2 that were there that day on the Saturday, we're going to go to the Mando panel. Now, there also was a standby for that. And some people did wait hours to do that because they got there at 5 o'clock in the morning to, whatever, to go get into this thing. So they let all of us with a reservation got in first, and whatever seating was left over because people didn't make it on a res or whatever, they filled in with people from the standby line. As I understand it, most people that wanted to get in got in. But you had to be dedicated to it. So I was in the arena, which is where the people actually were, where the stage was and where the actual actors were at, and the directors, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, who are the 2 guys that run Star Wars, basically. They were in the room. But there was also, on the 2nd level and the 3rd level, 2 big conference rooms, because you know how they're all divided up? They can make one bigger room. Right. With a few thousand more people in each room watching a live stream of the show, of what was going on. You could have queued for that too. And on the floor of the convention center, back in the corner, there was a stage set up where they just showed all the panels that were going on in the arena. Mm-hmm. The only difference with that one was if you were just standing there watching it, if they showed exclusive footage, because they did. I saw a trailer for Mando Season 3 and for the new Ahsoka thing coming out. They didn't show that on the screen. You did not get the exclusives on the one on the floor of the convention center. You had to be in one of the panel rooms that was legit. So that's how they instituted that. The lottery thing for the Funko and the Loungefly gave you a specific time to go shopping at those 2 stores, or you could do standby as well, but those lines were long. They were 3 and 4 hours long to do that. I
think that's the line that we saw was for merch.
Right.
And then by the time...
that merch store was separate. Now, this is only for Funko and for Loungefly. The merch store was separate. I'll get to that in a second.
Good grief.
Oh, yeah. Because it was, like, highly sought after, like, type stuff. So...
Well, Loungefly, people collect those crazy. And same with Funko. So I could see how those would need maybe their own space. But I think the one we saw, the person just went to, like, the general... because they were in with a bunch of, like, cool-looking T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, I did that, too. I'll get to that, how that worked, because that was a separate process. the Loungefly and Funko thing, you had to win a time, otherwise you stood in a standby line, which could be 3 or 4 hours long. So I didn't win that, which I kind of was like, oh, I kind of want to see the Mando panel. I'm okay with not seeing the other ones because that's the one I really wanted to see. But like, I would have liked to get a thing at the Funko store because some of the pops they had were kind of cool. Now, some of the pops they had on there, they didn't even make it. They didn't make it in shipping because of the shipping delays, so they never actually had the Funkos. But the rest of them, they did. 2 days out of the 4, my brother's friend was there, and she managed to get a Funko reservation, and she actually managed to get it on that Thursday, the first day before we had even gotten down there. I think she had it Thursday at like 11:30 or something. So she went in, and I was like, oh, hold on, she's got one? Like, can she go and buy my stuff? Now, you can only get, it was limited to one. Limited to one. She's a big Chewbacca fan. So they had a Chewbacca Funko, which was like, it just has a celebration sticker and the box is black. But she was like, can she buy me something? Yeah, like, what do you want? She's going to go in anyway because she wants the thing, and she obviously doesn't have much of a wait because she's got a reservation. I'm like, well, I really would like the Darth Vader one if she doesn't want that. No, she's a fan of Chewbacca. She doesn't want the Vader one. Okay, I'll take the Vader one. And then I managed to get that and the Leia one. So we got, the group of us got the Chewbacca one, the Vader one, the Leia one, and the Luke one. And personally, I got the Leia one and the Vader one. So I do have those. That's how that worked. The store, that's a whole different story. So the store, because they knew it was going to be busy, and I'm not sure if this is the right way to do it or the wrong way to do it. But what they did was like a fast pass. In the morning at 9 a.m., you could go in to their website from the app and try to get what they call the light speed lane, which is essentially a reservation time to go to the store. So at 9 o'clock in the morning, you try that. On Friday morning, my brother got it. And so you can only take one guest. So I told him, you take your friend, that's fine. Just FaceTime me when we get in there and see the stuff. And then you see all this stuff online. So I told him, I kind of want this shirt and this shirt and this shirt. And if they have this, fine. If not, whatever. We'll look at it. Okay. So they go in and he's like, this is terrible. I'm like, is it? It's terrible. He said, it looks like a Big Lots going out of business. They just have boxes. Employees are bringing out boxes of a shirt design, tossing them on the floor, and just leaving it because the fans are so freaking rabid to get all this shit. He's all, it's ridiculous. He called me. He was like sweating, like on this thing. He's like, you could tell he's just like, I don't like this at all. And so I had asked him for a couple of shirts. He's like, I can't find your shirt. I saw one of them. It was a medium. I can't find the other ones you were looking for. He's all, I found the Spirit jersey because I asked him to look at the price of the Spirit jersey. And he's all, I don't even know how much it costs. I gave him a price and told him, well, if you decide to buy anything, get in line with it and ask him what it costs. And if it's more than this much, I don't want it. Okay. So he finds something that he wants to get. And my brother had asked for something and he got one too, my other brother. So he gets in line for that. And then he's like, dude, at this point, I'm just buying your Spirit jersey because I'm already here. And I'm like, I guess. Okay. Turns out it was within my price range.
That's good.
So, yeah. It's comparable to Disney prices. It was the same. So, like a lower end Disney one, because it's got the logo on the back. It's a Star Wars Celebration. So it was comparable to that. So I was like, okay, I'm fine with that. So he got that, but he was so discouraged with the whole thing. And that's bad. That's bad. People were complaining online that this is just a mess with the store, and it was.
The guy that we watch, he's not like one of the big boy vloggers. He's kind of like a middle to lower guy, but he's real. And he walked in and he goes, "Holy F, what is going on?"
Yeah.
And he was showing some of the merch, but his like somebody else was holding it, and he was just like, because none of it was displayed, and so he was like, this is a mess. But
it was bad.
The 4-hour wait, I was like,
okay.
I don't think I've ever wanted a t-shirt that was a 4-hour wait. Like, I'm sorry.
So that was the other thing. So he had a reservation and he got in within a few minutes. Now the line to get out, line to check out, it took him over an hour and a half to check out.
Dang.
And this is, no, mind you, he had a reservation, so he pretty much walked right in. People waited like 2 hours in line, 3 hours in line, and then had to wait an hour and a half to get checked out.
after
He
digging
went in.
boxes to get
Yeah.
their stuff
Now,
that they may or may not have gotten.
right. Now remember, I didn't go in.
Right.
So I actually had a really nice conversation with a guy from Utah who made a fan film, and some other people who had just kind of sat at the table that I was sitting at with talking to this guy. Great conversation. Kenobi had dropped the night before. We'll talk about Kenobi at a different time. Kenobi had dropped the night before, so we're talking about that and going through all this stuff. And then it was like, oh man, I'm gonna go walk the floor. I'm tired of sitting here. People had left doing their thing. I walked the floor for a little bit, and then I texted him, "What's your status?" He's all, "I'm still have about 2 lanes to get through." I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm getting kind of hungry. I'm gonna go find something to eat, and I'm gonna go back to the hotel room." He said, "Okay, that's fine." So he got back to the hotel room, and mind you, with an 11:30 reservation, he got back to the hotel room about 2.
Wow.
About 2, and he hadn't eaten lunch.
Well, I was just looking at like online, social media and stuff, just the lines and the volume of people, and it almost seemed like I was like, did they oversell for this venue? Because it just was
Now, a lot of people
so
didn't know
many people.
how stuff worked. A lot of people didn't know how stuff works. So you have the people that were there for 4 days and the people there for 1 day. So let's go. I'll continue my story here.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it's got to be better. I want to see if by chance I can get into the store myself and see if I can just catch a box that has these shirts. So I tried for it Saturday, no luck. I tried for it Sunday, and I got it. I got the store on Sunday at 11 o'clock? 11 o'clock. Mind you, the show floor opens at 10. So the way they let everybody into the show was they all corral you basically, into one hall in these giant queues, and they take one queue at a time and let you in. I knew that's not going to work. I don't want to do that because I don't want to go all the way over there on the other opposite side and walk all the way over to the other side because the store wasn't even in that building. It's in a separate building, but you have to access that building from the second floor, so you kind of have to go through the convention center. So we waited on the far end of the convention center for them to open those doors on the end, because eventually they opened all the doors, and you can just, after the herd of people goes in first, they open those doors, and you can go in any door that you want, because it's open access after that, because security, you've already been through security, because they're at different places. Kind of like Disney does it. Once you're past a certain point, then you can go wherever on property because you've already been through security. So we had no clue what time those doors were opening. The volunteers who were working there had no clue what time those things were opening. Saturday for the Mando panel, we just walked in one of those doors. I don't even think it was supposed to be open, but it was. So we just walked in. On the Sunday, they were not open. Somebody came walking out. Someone else grabbed the door. And then next thing you know, a whole bunch of people just rushed in, including us. We just rushed in the door and up the second floor. So there's a short line for the store because the place had just opened. It's a little after 10:30. My reservation's at 11. They looked at it and said, "Oh yeah, we can scan you in." So they scanned me in. Go ahead, you can go in. And I'm like, this is it. I don't have to queue anywhere else. I'm in the store. And this time on Sunday,
right,
there are now racks filled with shirts, done by size. My brother was like, "Oh my God, this is not what it looked like the other day. It looked nothing like this the other day at all." And I was like, "I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, here we are." So we found every shirt we were looking for. Yeah, we found every shirt we were looking for. I got some magnets, and I don't remember what else. I didn't buy a whole lot, but the shirts were $30 a pop.
Yeah.
It's, and it says that. And the line to check out was 15 minutes.
Your brother must have been fuming.
He was just like, I can't believe I spent all this, and you get this, and here we are, just go through the thing. But then everything was organized. They had most everything. There was still some stuff they never got because of shipping delays, which I'm sure you'll see some of that stuff later. Yes, people still waited 2 hours in line. The one thing that I was gonna grab that I didn't get, only because it was like, I'm here, I might as well get it, is the Diamond Grogu Funko. That was only available in the store, and they had sold out by the time that I had gotten up there. But yeah, there was stuff that was sold out once they never got it again. So the line for pins was probably an hour and a half for pins. I was like, I don't want any pin that bad, but for anything else but a pin, you were fine to get in line. You can get out within a few minutes. They had plenty of check stands open. I don't know what had changed from a couple of days before, but They
Well,
finally had figured
if
out what
you've
they were
ever
doing.
been to any kind of convention or, conference, day one of the conference, it seems like depending on when they got their volunteers in. So like if nobody showed up, like if they didn't pay to have people come the day before and set up, or come several hours earlier and set up, then they're all doing setup as people are trying
Now,
to buy.
now these are volunteers. They're volunteers, and as I understand it, they let people know that they got approved to volunteer way late. So they were understaffed because they took so long to tell people that they were approved to do it that people said, no, I don't want to do it anymore because it was so close to the actual thing. So that went bad, and that's a lot of people blame the organizer, who's not Disney. Disney is not the organizer of this; it's a separate company, a third party who's doing this, and yeah.
Well,
There were
maybe
some things that were just like
Disney
this could have been better.
Disney needs to have a conversation with their third party
Well,
vendor.
Disney will run D23 and it'll go a lot smoother. So
Yeah.
I actually did like the fact that you had to reserve a panel if you could, because I don't have the want or desire, and at some point when my kids were younger, the time to actually wait overnight. Some people enjoy that, and that's great. That is not me. If I can get in on the lottery, I will get in on the lottery and show up an hour before instead of having to wait overnight. That's not how it works. So one of the other things that happened, that thing that I shared with you actually, was it wasn't planned to be there, but they brought a bunch of props from The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. And so
cool.
that was set up underneath, the level below the show store, and that also required a reservation. That was a separate thing. Now, that one opened at 8:30. So I managed on Sunday as well, actually. On Sunday I got both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up a reservation for that at, I think that was Saturday. That was Saturday. Saturday was Saturday. I ended up with one of those Saturday morning for like 3:00 that afternoon. So yeah, that one opened at 8:30, and then you just do the same thing. You picked a time, you got one guest, you got to go through. That one, when I had went to go check out what it was, and when I could get in, they had a posted 2-hour wait time. At least a 2-hour wait time.
Yeah.
I got in within 30 minutes on a reservation time, because it's a museum and exhibits, so you kind of just have to let people funnel out, and as people go out, you can let some more in, kind of thing. Because everybody's taking pictures. I'm sure you've seen video of the robotic. That's not robotic. It's a puppet. The Grogu waving at people from the starship. That's what that's from. That's what that's from.
Cool.
Yeah. No, it was super super cool. All kinds of cool stuff to look at and to check out, to see these costumes that were actually used, in the series. But yeah, people waited 2.5, 3. I did see people. I've been in line for 3 hours already.
Yeah.
But
the only meet and greet I would want to do is with Ewan McGregor. Like, he's the only person that I would have any interest in really waiting for, because Carrie Fisher's dead.
Yeah.
Aside from that, give me Ewan any day of the week. But I couldn't imagine, there's very few things that I think 1 hour is my limit.
Yeah.
I think after
I wouldn't have done any more than that.
I'm out. I don't want to wait any longer. My time is valuable, and there's really very few things on this planet that I feel is worth standing in a line for over an hour for. So that would be really hard for me.
And I don't know.
Like the lottery thing.
I don't know who to blame for this, but people legitimately did not know about the lottery thing. So when I showed up close to my time to go into the Mandalorian thing, there were people, they had signs up, oh, there's reservations available for this. People weren't reading the signs, because the guy, I saw him scan, he's all, I've been trying this, all day, but for blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, you do realize that sign says it opens at 8:30. And reservations were gone, within a half an hour.
We need to teach more reading comprehension and critical thinking skills.
It was weird, though, because stuff was only available. There was nothing they handed out.
Right.
There was no guide they handed out. Everything was through the app.
Yeah.
And the app it could be better, but you really had to do your research to figure out what it was that you want to do. And that's how we did it. We figured out what it was and kind of pasted out. Okay, this I'm going to do here. This is when I want to do this. Like day one, we knew I don't want to get there at the beginning. Why? Because number one, I had to work a little bit. And number two, I know it's going to be a madhouse of people trying to get in for that first time kind of thing. So I think I left town about 11, and I even told my brother, you know what bugs me? I'm always concerned about eating. Lunchtime. Things are going to be a mess at lunchtime.
Well, and that's just it. We think about things like that because we're like, we know that like what we're gonna want and how we're gonna do it, and we've been to theme parks. We
Yeah.
know when the busy time is. You don't eat during lunch. You eat lunch earlier or later. You pick
I
one.
know. I told them let's stop at a Subway
Mm-hmm.
and go to the hotel because we'll get to the hotel about noon based on what the GPS is telling me.
Right.
Stop at a Subway. Let's ask your friend since she had just gone into the store for us, the Funko, and got us the Funkos we wanted. If she wants a sandwich, we'll bring it to her. And
Yeah.
then let's go see if our room is ready. We can hang out in the hotel room for a little bit. So we get there. There's not a room ready for us yet because you need to come back in a little bit because checkout time. Okay, I get that. I'm here at noon. Check-in time is usually 3 or 4 o'clock at a hotel. You want to upgrade? We got a room. No, I don't want to upgrade. I'm paying enough for this room. I'm staying at the Hilton. I'm paying enough for this room. I don't need another $30 a night when I really won't spend a lot of time here to begin with.
Right.
It is the ease of how close I am to the convention center. That's why I'm paying the money to stay here. So they're like, okay, that's fine. And check in here. So the lobby wasn't that busy because it's first day and everybody's checking off the stuff. We found a nice spot in the lobby to sit down and eat our lunch, and then went over and everybody had to get the COVID check. So I went over to the Marriott to get the COVID check, and
Right.
then went into the convention for a little bit, and we knew day one we're going to walk the floor. Let's walk the floor. Why? Because that's going to be the least busy day. Let's walk to this floor and see the stuff here, and then decide on other days, focus on panels or like, you know what, I want to go check out that booth again. I saw something, whatever. Okay, so we did that. A lot of photo ops on the thing, that huge TIE fighter that was there,
Yeah,
some
that looks
sets
pretty
from stuff.
cool.
It was. I will say that I was not impressed with the number of vendors at all. There did not seem to be enough vendors. The last one I went to in 2015, there seemed to be way more vendors. There's way more vendors at D23.
Hmm.
Now, it seemed like there was a lot of kind of wasted space, and Disney had to have a say in this. I've been to other cons where they sell a bunch of lightsabers. You
Mm.
saw nothing but Hasbro lightsabers because that's who has the contract to make lightsabers for Disney.
Oh, well,
So all those
Disney goes
third-party
after
ones,
people. Yeah,
yeah,
Disney goes after people for third-party stuff. Like Disney does not play with a lot of their licensing.
no,
So,
no, none of that was there. Which, I mean, I wasn't gonna buy one from them, but I could see just to look at them is
yeah.
kind of cool. But like, I really was not impressed with the show floor, and everybody had the same shit. So they have like Legos there,
Hmm.
Hasbro's there, their brands that they sponsor to do stuff, and in the small vendor area, it's all
Hmm.
the same shit. Everybody's got vintage toys, which I had
Yeah.
no desire. Oh, that's not entirely true, but like I wasn't gonna buy any. I like looking at them, but I wasn't gonna
Yeah.
buy any. And
Yeah,
then of
I
course the
saw some of
t-shirts.
the vintage toy stuff, and if you've ever been to any kind of like larger swap meet,
Yeah.
it's like the same toys that you see there at those places. So, yeah, you could get that at the flea market in Pomona,
So
honestly.
walk the floor on Thursday, Friday. Never walk the floor. Very, very only to look to see a couple small things, but not up and down the aisles like we did any other day. Friday was the Star Wars Nite thing, which we also talked about. So Friday we tried to do the store, um, and then went to did we go to we did go to a panel. We went to a panel on Star Tours, 35th anniversary of Star Tours, which was
Oh,
super cool. Ashley Eckstein was there, Tony Baxter, some of the other Imagineers who worked on it. That was actually a lot of fun. It was really cool. Didn't get nothing for free. That kind of sucks. But the panel was super interesting. And then we went to Star Wars Night that night. Saturday was the Mando thing, which was super cool. And then I can't remember what else did we do on Saturday. So Saturday was also the Mandalorian experience, which
hmm.
which was super cool. And then it's just some other stuff in between. Spent some time in the hotel room, and then went back that night for Fantasmic. So Saturday was a busy day. Sunday, I was able to get the show store, and then they had an exhibit from something called Rancho Obi-Wan. So
Hmm.
Steve Sansweet is an author and collector of Star Wars stuff. He has what's known as the largest collection of Star Wars collectibles pretty much on Earth. He had some stuff there that was highlighting Boba Fett and Mandalorians. So that was kind of cool to see some of the toys and different stuff that he has collected. Waited about, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes to get into that and spent a little bit of time in there. Went back to the show floor for a little tiny bit, but by then I'd walked so much my feet were
Yeah.
hurting. I was tired. I was like, let's go home, man. I'm tired. I've been getting to bed at 1 o'clock and waking up like 6:37. Like, most of it was okay. I had a blast. All the cosplayers are fantastic. Um, my complaints would be I don't think there was enough vendors. There
Yeah.
should have been more. I like that they do security and then you're free to walk around after you get through security, but their metal detectors were super sensitive. You know what was setting it off? The case for my glasses.
Oh,
The
wow.
magnet in my glasses was setting off the sensor. There were
That
people
is,
that walked by, like my brother, would get through with his backpack, no problem. He wouldn't set it off. Mine would go off every single time, and they actually told me at one point, it's your glasses. The case for your glasses is actually what's setting that off. The only metal things in there were my hydro flask, the glasses case, and my charger, maybe. And they're like, it's either the glasses case or the charger. I like that they have food trucks, but damn, those lines get long for
I
those food
saw,
trucks. I
I
never
saw
once actually even
pictures. They
ate.
look insane.
I never ate at one of the food trucks because it was ridiculously long lines, and it sucks that they place them. It's a good place where they place them because it's out in front of the convention center.
Right.
That's kind of cool, but it sucks when you make that the security area too. So in front of where the hotels are, that's where security is, but then everybody has to walk through there because that's where security is. So that part of it sucked because it just congested that area really bad. That part of it sucked and was not like you need to rethink this layout
I
because
was
this isn't
watching a
working.
vlogger who walks out. They show the food truck area, and the next scene is them around the corner in like a pizza place. Like they just left altogether and went somewhere, like
Yeah.
just food place somewhere else that didn't have any lines or
So
anybody in it. They were like, we're out.
Thursday night, I think we went to Roscoe's. Like we drove
Yeah,
to Roscoe's because it was just down the street, not that far from the park. Friday and Saturday we ate in the park for dinner. For lunch Thursday we brought Subway. Friday I ate at Starbucks because I had left and I was like, I don't want to stand in line for this thing. Let me check. The hotel had a Mexican food place, a pizza place, and Starbucks. I'm also a little let down by how much the hotels actually have right there to eat because they had a
yeah,
restaurant like the bar kind of area who served food, but never went in there.
yeah.
Um, I ate at Starbucks, got one of their sandwiches. On Saturday, I ate at the pizza place because the line wasn't there. Or on Saturday, ate at the pizza place because the line wasn't that bad. And then Sunday, I didn't even eat lunch there. We left before. We had a late lunch. We
Yeah.
left before. But yeah, that's always an issue when you're trying to figure out what I'm going to eat and then what's not going to take so long.
Yeah, because like the hunger is real. And so what are you gonna do? Eat a granola bar while you're standing in line for 3 hours to get a hot dog from a truck or whatever. So yeah, I saw that and I was like, man, that is a lot. That is a lot of people there. So it's good if you have a car, you can Uber somewhere, you're willing to walk a
We
little
did
further.
breakfast. You know what? And you've done this, and this is going to be a concern for us in a couple of weeks when we actually go to a conference. Is breakfast is always usually a concern because we came down one morning, Friday morning. We came down Friday morning, and we're trying to figure out what to do for breakfast. The Starbucks line was already crazy long,
Mm-hmm.
and it was about 7:30 in the morning. And then the hotel had one of those like, okay, we'll serve you Starbucks coffee over here, but we also have like chorizo burritos, $10, $10 for a chorizo burrito. I was like,
That's a lot.
that's a lot, and I don't like chorizo. So I told my brother, hop in the car. It's probably quick enough because the convention center's not open yet. We could probably drive down the street to, I don't know, McDonald's, Jack in the
Literally
Box.
anywhere.
Yeah, literally anywhere else. We managed to find some kind of the Asian sandwich place that
Yeah.
had like breakfast sandwiches on baguettes or croissants that were really good. So we drove there. I spent $8 for a sandwich and a cup of coffee
Yeah.
versus $10 for just the burrito. So we
Yeah.
did that, and then the next 2 days we actually Uber Eats. We had Uber Eats. We had they found a boy's hamburger. He found a boy's hamburger place or something. Like we had like French toast for like $8. Like
Yeah.
just make coffee in the room. That was fine. And then we
The
brought stuff too, but like snacky stuff.
Yeah, because usually, like when we've gone to conferences, they'll do the continental breakfast, which is essentially donuts, Danish, and fruit juice. And I was like, great, nothing I can eat. So, like, I always pack like protein shakes, and you can drink those cold or not. And so they're not the best breakfast in the world, but they get me through it till I get.
Will the conference that we're going to, the hotel will do like scrambled eggs and bacon and muffins and stuff for the first day. The other 2 days you're on your own, which
Yeah,
I might just be an
two
Uber.
days, watch
Yeah,
me. catch me with my protein shake.
You know what? I might just, the Uber Eats thing was so easy that I
Really?
think I might just do the Uber Eats
Well,
thing. Yeah. Yeah. So that pretty much was the experience of it. Did I have fun? Yes. You literally could stand around all day and watch cosplayers. I totally could have. I wish I saw a lot. I wish I would have done a little bit more. I saw stuff. I wish I would have gotten a little bit more photos of the stuff. Everybody goes out to the fountain, kind of towards the end of the day and does that. A lot of the same, like you'll get the same character or the same alien species and do that. Super cool. Would have done that a little bit more if we weren't at Disney, which I don't regret at all doing what we did at
Disney was a good time.
Yeah.
You had fun. You got to see two major things, so that was cool.
Yeah, one of them unintended, but it was cool to do.
Yeah.
I would do it again. The next one is in London. You know what I did not want to do is I had thought about when stuff was first releasing for autographs and stuff, the prices were ridiculous.
Oh, I bet.
Ewan McGregor would have been about $300.
Yeah, but he's beautiful.
Yeah, I know, but $300, and it could have been, and it wasn't even a photo and an autograph. It was one or the other.
Oh, well then that kind of sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't both. You were getting one or the other.
And you got an autograph of him. Like that's.
Yeah, that's a little bit more. I'm like, oh.
If I had to make a decision.
Right. That's a little pricey. Even for people who I know you can see at other cons. And this is not a knock on Ashley Eckstein. I think she's fantastic. But even her price was a lot higher than it would be if I went to WonderCon.
Yeah.
Okay, so all the other stuff, too, that goes on, like, this just stuff isn't publicized. You have to know people or be in these Facebook groups. But I walked into the hotel, I don't even know what night, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? I asked some guy in line, man, what's going on? What's this big old line for in my hotel at the Hilton in the ballroom there? And they're like, oh, Ashley Eckstein is signing because apparently the signing, for some people, they didn't schedule a lunch or they got started late and that person was scheduled to be at a panel. So if you had a 2 o'clock autograph time, they pushed it to 3 without telling you, okay, it's getting pushed to 3 because this person has to go here. So something like that happened with her. So she just said, I'll meet y'all who has this in the Hilton, and I'll go finish signing over there, along with some other people who I guess were smaller. They call it after-hours signatures or autographs, and it was just held at the Hilton, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool that they do that. She was very accommodating. Ashley Eckstein is always very accommodating.
I really hate it when you go somewhere and it's poorly organized and ran. Like that always drives me crazy because I'm like, this was your job. Like, this is your whole job.
Yeah, somebody actually, I read somewhere on there where actually it was Ewan McGregor. They didn't schedule him a lunch break. So he, somebody, 2 people away from meeting him, and like, okay, he's going to take a break. And he came back like 5 minutes later with like a Coke and a Snickers.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, I'm going to do it. Some people got like that. And
I'll be honest, that guy seems in everything I've watched him in, and I like to watch him in a lot of things. But in all like the interviews and stuff, he seems like one of the most down-to-earth, normal people that I've seen in Hollywood, because he's not based here. Side note to him, I found on the internet, which don't know how true it is, but his daughter played in the movie Obi-Wan, the series. His daughter is the spice dealer on the one planet with the pink hair.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Daughter. It's a meme, so I have not fact-checked, but if that's true, that's pretty damn cool. But I love you, and I would wait on a panel for him. That's about it.
Well, I didn't see him on a panel. Like I said, I saw the whole Mandalorian cast, Mandalorian cast, including the stunt doubles for the Mandalorian, as well as Grogu himself. Like they brought that little animated Grogu they had out there who sat down, which was super cool. We've already been at this almost 2 hours, so we got a lot to cover. I won't go into specifics. I'm sure you can go on the internet and read all that, but I'll just say that The Mandalorian Season 3 looks incredible. Absolutely incredible. Cool stuff.
Good series.
Gonna happen. Yeah, Rosario Dawson came out as, she didn't come out as Ahsoka, but she is Ahsoka. Yeah. And they previewed what her stuff is gonna look like. It was just a short little teaser. They call it like a sizzle or whatever they call it. You're gonna see characters from Rebels in the Ahsoka live action. I actually did get an Ahsoka t-shirt because I thought the logo was cool. So I actually do have one of those. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. They just started filming too. I think they said she was been filming for 3 weeks. The cool thing about the Mando panel is they showed the trailer that we saw. They showed it on Thursday at the Lucasfilm one and then told us, You saw the longer version.
Oh.
We got the longer version at the Mando panel, and we have something else for you. We're going to show you a piece of Ahsoka. So he's like, we've only been filming 3 weeks, so we just put this together for you guys. It looks so freaking amazing.
Well, I love Rosario Dawson too. She's amazing.
Yeah.
I've loved her since Clerks 2.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
I really loved her.
Yeah,
'cause
me
she
too.
was
Her
amazing
character's
in that.
fantastic.
So
Yeah, her character's
her
fantastic.
character was great in that.
Yeah.
So, but I really like her. I really like her character in Ahsoka. I think that it's always great when we have, really strong, well-written female leads, because
That's actually what Katie Sackhoff said.
Uh-huh.
Katie Sackhoff said, she's like, I was raised on science fiction because my dad loved it, and she's like, I am just amazed now how these two sitting on the end, she's talking about Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, are able to write strong characters, and gender just basically doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the thing. The writing is so good, and she's absolutely right. They write, like, for lack of a better term, they write strong characters that are non-binary, and you could just put different people in them and they would be just as good. So yeah, I really appreciate them. I would have liked that panel too. I like Mando. I like The Mandalorian. I think it's a great, very well-written series, and so I'm looking forward to those spinoffs. Like, I wasn't a giant fan of Boba Fett. I thought it was real slow at first. But
Tamora Morrison that guy's an entertainer.
Yeah.
He came out and did what do they call it? Haka? Is that what they call it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but I
think it's called Haka. Forgive me if I
so.
said it wrong. But it's the indigenous tribal, like, war kind of thing. He did that. He came out to that and was doing that, and the crowd went absolutely apeshit, which I guess is the wrong thing to do, because I guess you're actually supposed to be silent when that goes on, and people were giving shit for that. Star Wars, I had a fantastic time, but there's always people who are like,
the cultural appropriate way to respond to that either. So
somebody had just said that's how Americans react.
Yeah,
Americans just react. Yeah, they scream at it because they appreciate it. That's just the way that it is. Like, they don't know.
We love it if we're yelling at you.
Yeah, that's yeah. So that panel was incredible. That's Again, people did complain. People complained about that. People complained about the photos with some of the celebrities, because some of the celebrities last minute opted to have plexiglass in between them, which is, hey, that's their thing. People were like, well, you paid money for that photo. I understand that, but, like, we're seeing a spike in COVID, and that's what they chose.
And, like,
I'm not here to say one way or another. Just like, you have to respect the celebrity.
Yeah, like, that's their livelihood. It's like when you see somebody in customer service wearing whatever. They could be wearing a hazmat suit. I get it. You can't take time off. You got to work. Like, and not even COVID. Like, there's a million different germies running around.
He's an 80-year-old man.
Yeah.
And, Billy Lord, who is Carrie Fisher's daughter, also opted to have the plexiglass, who has a newborn at home.
I was going to say her son's, I think, 1, so he's very, very young.
Yeah, and I think she has a newborn, too, so, like, that's what people maybe. That's what people were talking about there, and then a couple, like, Ewan McGregor had nothing. He didn't have anything, and then I think, what's her name? Is it Kelly Tran? The one who played Rose Tico? When everybody gets hate on, Rose Tico had said she was going to, and then didn't end up having it. So totally, that's up to the comfort of the performer and on how they have it. People were even giving Hayden Christensen and Jon Favreau some shit, because, like, well, they're here doing all this without it, versus we see you in public and you're wearing a mask. And it was with Hayden, it was something like, oh, he's out, on stage, because there was a fan stage where they bring out people for interviews. Yeah. And then you can just kind of stand around the stage and see that. Okay, but he's talking to one person on the stage, and he's above everybody else.
Yes.
Yeah, versus I'm out in the crowd and I have a mask on now.
But people love to hate on him because he was the whiny one. Like,
right.
People don't like him. They just don't. As a matter of fact, the little kid, the kid who played the youngest Anakin, he's been, like, through therapy because of how he's been treated. Because people are jerks. They're just jerks.
So there was that. That was a complaint, and then the other complaint that you hear was the way they went about the mask policy. It was supposed to be a mask policy all indoors, and I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't have my mask on the entire time that it was there. I put it on, like, the store wanted it on, the panels wanted it on. That's fine, There was a
Yeah.
lot of people in those rooms. I didn't have a problem with that. Walking around the show floor, honestly, it got hot, so I took it off. When I went up to a crowd of people, I would put it on, like if I was going to be in direct contact with it. But if I'm just walking, there's really no one else around me.
Most of the videos and the posts that I saw from people, they were not wearing it.
Yeah,
So it was
security didn't
very
even try.
loosely
There was no way. There was
Yeah.
no way that you were going to get everybody to do that. Maybe in the panels, because for the celebration stage that I was at for the Mando panel, when they showed the exclusive footage, they told you, okay, put away your phones, blah, blah. Yeah, the ushers, maskless, by the way, ushers, were walking up and down the aisles looking for phones, looking for glows
Yeah.
about stuff. And I didn't see anybody taking video where I was at, but I saw in a Facebook group that somebody had linked a YouTube channel that had it. And then when I checked it again, it was gone. So Disney, the long arm of Disney came out and said, no, you can't have that video taken down. So it has not really been seen by many people still.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. That part's cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm happy about that. Because come on, man, they respect that. You know, he brought something special for you. And to be honest, a lot of us, we want that something special for us.
Yeah.
We paid how much money and we waited for all this. Like, let us have it. You know, for that. You're going to see it later anyway. So
Right.
that's fine. I will 100% do it again. Hopefully it is a little better, run with some stuff, but I don't have any major complaints. I went in not expecting much and had a blast, including all the cosplayers. So
That's awesome.
that's my celebration story.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, I would totally do it again. Well, I think it's about time to end this. We've been on for 2 hours doing this. Lots to talk about. I would drop all the info, but I knew this was going to be the one where I dropped info on everything because I had the time to do it. That's it.
Disney Culture is a part of the Extraordinary Culture podcast universe. Follow my Disney stuff on IG and YouTube at Dan's Disney Adventures. Follow my Disney stuff on TikTok at Danzig77. That's DANSZIG77. Thanks for listening. See you real soon.
See you real soon.